Thank you, Dr. Garg. I think at the outset, let me compliment organizers of this Energy Environmental Foundation for this type of conference, Global PetroCoal Conference, and giving a window to conventional oil and gas. There was a yesterday plenary session, and today we have seen unconventional. It's a good coverage actually. So let me compliment once more to Dr. Garg and his team. Now starting with this, I think excellent presentation by ONGC, very, very good. It has given you the idea which we dwelled yesterday. The gas can fuel the future. He says 1/10 of the recovery from hydrates, and the technology which he has given, I mean, it's really, really highly appreciable presentation, I'll call it. But I'll give you a second presentation on shale gas, where the technology is no more a challenge like gas hydrate. It has been a challenge, and gas hydrates we have been seeing 2002 onward when we hired Canadian ship for the exploration in India, exploratory studies. But now it has gone up, very nice. So let me first cover why we call conventional versus unconventional, just for the sake of academics. The conventional reservoir, yes, ENP, morning session we have seen, the gas reservoir, there are a lot of characteristics. We have cryogens, see what gas will come, oil will come, what proportion will come. So that means a formation right from beginning with the sedimentary rocks. And gas hydrate, the secondary treatment for gas hydrate is unconventional one. You have depressurization, thermal, or you have the molecular substitution. So these are the secondary processes. That's why you call it unconventional. Similarly, for shale gas, you have to have, I mean, there is no reservoir. The rock, source rock is a reservoir. So you have to frack the pores from where you have to draw the natural gas or methane from it. So the fracking with high pressure, with some stimulants or some chemicals, I'll call it, is a secondary process. Similarly to CBM, I think it will be covered by the next speaker. You have to have the taking out of the water from the well so that it gets depressurized and you get the methane from the CBM source. So this is primarily, just for the sake of clarification, conventional versus unconventional. We come down to shale gas. If you see, as I said, shale gas is a gas trapped within the pores of the shale rock. Fundamental data which has been nicely shared by Prashant Kumar for the sake of our the faculty or the fraternity of the oil and gas people here. So this will be a real reference line for us to quote, to understand what is going to happen. Similarly, in the shale gas, it was a experimental basis right around 1994 itself in the US. They tried how to extract, what will happen, like you have seen in 2000 onward. Even Canada did it for hydrates. And today now, in 2017, we are finding some success. So similarly, they started doing experimental, doing, and ultimately it is economics which determines. If you say thermal system, $4.5 per mm, it is not bad actually, even for meter cube even. So let's see what happened in US in 2008 when there was a crisis of the price. The oil price were hovering more than $100 per barrel, and gas price has touched almost $13 per MMBTU. And import was very costly. And the US was the largest importer of oil and gas. They have the reserve, but their theory was different. They say, consume others' reserve first, keep in-house domestic reserve for future. So they were importing. So it was a huge import cost going on. So they said, why not to do it actually faster? The shale gas which we have seen, it is possible. Why not to make it practical? That was the trigger actually. So there was a permissive regulatory regime, government supported. Generous government's R&D support was given for any new thing coming up, because shale rock is a unique rock which cannot be replicated. If one kind of shale will be different other kind of shale. So you cannot say, I have got experience in the pocket, I just open the pocket and start doing things. No. You have to have a different research, different design, different kind of calculations. So there was a generous government R&D support given for those kind of the Marcellus shale, Latica shale, I mean so many. I mean, I'm not going in that details, but I can tell you the E shale is a different and a difficult shale. So there was large number of quality investment. Then US reserves estimated varying from 622 to 1200 TCF. Now you see, if somebody says, look here in our country, this is the reserve, and you have seen the quantum, I'll give you a ballpark thumb rule figure, 1 TCF multiplied by 4 for 20 years, enjoy MMSCMD rate. A thumb rule. It is slightly less than 4. But see the volume. So then this incentivizes the people to invest, to get it extracted. And they have drilled almost more than 40,000 wells so far, and that is one of the most success story. And the global reserve, let me tell you, compare with hydrates, it is 32,000 TCF as per the Roger estimate. And where global reserves, yesterday I told you, 6,599. You can say 6,600 TCF. See the difference, 5 times. The shale, hydrates more than that. So you are sitting and fortunate to have inherited those kind of reserves and put forward challenge for you to now excavate, to exploit them. That is the way forward for us. Similarly, Society of Petroleum Engineers, slightly more conservative, 16,000. 16,000 TCF also is not less volume for the world as a whole. Now, what are the constraints? I said everything says yes, very good, but why not to really harness that? What are the place? So design of the well is also different. So therefore, you call it highly engineered and controlled functions. So this is the water problem. We'll give the solution to the possible extent. Air, that dust, engine exhaust, increased traffic load, flaring of the shale gas, being predominantly methane. This is one problem for air. Second is, EPA 2012 finalized new resource performance standards for fracking. You say, everybody says we should not do, in US they say not in my backyard. So that theory goes out. You say that the government says, okay, these are the regulations. If one can fulfill these regulations, you can have a jolly well one drill, exploit the shale. Then new rules under these standards became law in 2015. So there is little more flexibility insofar as air is concerned. Now, induced seismic event, big problem. At least conceived problem, may not be actual. But what we studied, energy related in fracking, energy release in fracking is not enough to induce the seismic events. That means the fracking is not a problem. You are fracking at least 500 to 1500 meter depth. So that shock of those pressure is not coming up because it's absorbed by the rock. Fracked. Once the energy is released and fracked, the energy is dissipated. It is not coming to the ground. But water fluid disposal through underground injection can pose some risk. And you have seen there was a video in US when you say that water tap is burning because somewhere this gas which was coming, which was leaked in some of the houses, some of the mains. So NAS and National Academic Sciences reveals that the total balance of fluid is to or withdrawn from the subsurface has direct consequence of the induced in seismicity. So that means whatever you are pouring as a consequence of fracking, hydraulic fracking, and whatever you are extracting as a gas and the condensate along with this, if it is properly balanced, probably the seismic impact will be very, very less. Then what happened to the fractured fluid? This is another phenomena where there is a lot of resistance from the public. This is 99% water, 1% mixture. The 1% mixture, people even believe that it can contain some carcinogenic elements. Big problems. So therefore, they started that every explorer or every operator must disclose the composition of the fracking fluid. Initially, when the government thought, if this is the one we make it mandatory, probably the movement will be, even you can put it to nalas, you can go to rivers, or you have to pour inside the earth. So these are the standards which still have to be adhered to. Then replacing fractured fluid, shock wave techniques. Now this is a change. Can we replace the water? Then there is a shock wave techniques. You can have shock waves rather than putting water fracking. You can have shock wave at that depth. Acidization could be one of the rocks, and CO2 injection. A lot of other things. There is one process where Canada has done even the C3, C4 plus injection. They say you inject frac, the shale rock, then that the C2, C3, that means basically LPG, comes out along with the gas. So is a less penetration or less exploitation or less damaging to the atmosphere. So this is one where people have said shock wave techniques, acidization, CO2 injection, C3, C4 fracking, which could replace the water. Surface impact, or I can put it one, of course, that is water for water. Instead of sweet water, you can have even the sea water. In case of the gas hydrates in India, at least they are available in the basin areas of KG, Kaveri, Kambe. You can use those, even the, let's say, seawater. Surface impact, increased traffic affecting agriculture, fishery and hunting. This has to be addressed properly. Socio-economic impact and effect on the human health and environment. These are the issues which have to be addressed for shale gas. Another problem which has done very bad good results for the world movement in shale gas is the asset estimation. How much reserves are there where you take, this area you take, and they have started producing 4.47 BCM shale gas per annum in 2015. So that means you need to have fix the responsibility, give him the authority, and make conducive rules so that you can start exploitation. That's what China did. But there also, there is a sweet and sour experience. Whereas BP continues showing interest, but many of the multinationals have gone because they found that the reservoir estimates were also faulty there. Many people have left, even China. This is a shale. I mean, if you see here, all brownish places, there is a shale rocks. Australia, the success, I'll shorten it. The good number of reserves. This is you can see the dark brown spots are shale rocks. So therefore, Poland also is suffering. In Poland, oil prices rise, failed to pursue shale gas E&E, and their own government companies have cancelled the E&E program. That means shale gas, even they are not pursuing now because of the low price. I think their price is shooting up now. It may have. Ukraine, they have tried now to have commercial shale gas because they were otherwise dependent on Russia, and Russia twisted their arms, and this was their reason for going in the shale gas. But Indian conditions, as I said, we have a varying estimates of shale gas. But however, the experimental drilling as recommended or as proposed by the government were carried out by Reliance, GSPC, Joshi Technologies hit the shale by accident. They were drilling for normal gas. They found the shale is coming up. ONGC, OIL, results are quite encouraging. That means our shale rocks are good in TOC. You can get good amount of natural gas from them. The government policy 2010 allows PSU to pursue the shale gas. Unlike other places like US, UK and Australia, India has not yet permitted or have not been able to permit a competitive regime to exploit shale gas. So this is one issue which we have to see now. ONGC is drilling well, 17 in Kambe Basin, 17 wells, 11 Kambe, 1 KG and 1 in Kambe. OIL also is planning. The government has cleared these two companies to start exploiting shale gas. This for Indian scenario. We have a lot of basins. You see, you have Kambe basins, you have Rajasthan, you have Himalayan basin, you have the Ganges basin, Kaveri, KG, full. So there are a lot of shale rocks available. This is, I think, final slide. What affected shale gas movement? One is slow progress in many countries, lack of preliminary data, government policies not very conducive, pro-environmental groups, as I said in case of UK. Second, the oil and gas price fall of second half of 2014, which impacted badly. Even the challenge was for even US shale gas, because when we narrated what comes, why the oil prices fall suddenly, the people gave it to the geopolitics issue. You say shale gas in US must be affected, so reduce the oil price. So it affected actually, but there was a positive effect also in the geopolitics. The positive effect was that actually the drilling cost and the innovations in technologies became faster, as you have to reduce the cost because the global oil price has come down, so therefore the shale gas price also has to come down. So you have new innovations, and those innovations or those kind of effects have even given much benefit to India by getting those drilling rigs at cheaper price. So it has a positive effect, it had a negative effect also. I think with this, way forward is take advantage of the experience gathered so far. Land laws cannot be changed, but the enabling initiative can be taken by the government as done in US, Canada and UK. Policy imperative, assessment of reserves, DGH and above PNG can combine or direct DGH to have the better assessment. Invest in that, it is better. Regulatory clarity both for DGH and PNGRB. Clearances, single window concept as ENP also needed. Then help in increasing gas market. Open access in transportation and distribution network which exists today. And open access in LNG liquefaction. This is a question mark. It has to be initiated with the participation of all. Encourage small players and foreign investors by clarity of the policy and assessment of the assets, and have continued R&D. With this, I think, let me thank you for kind listening.